facilitate advantages is actually kind of what led them there, whether it was Ryu and some of his anchoring, but also some of the investigations that he went for on that T side. Gizmi didn't feel like he got a whole lot out of his lurks. There was something to be desired, I think, out of the stand-ins for the team, but you can also be very sympathetic to the position that they're in. You know, they come from one team with one in-game leader and a different system into a Monte with much higher expectations with the roster and what the core has been able to do over the past year and a half. So there's definitely something that we can hope for coming into this Mirage, and Monte are looking to put best foot forward, already starting this T side very quick.
They won a lot of pistol rounds before. Can they do it over here? DGL is going to be able to take one out quickly. PERA's right there next to him, so you're not penetrating jungle. Sorry to break it to you. Maybe CT would have been a better area to put your sights out on, but they couldn't have known it, just as they couldn't have planned it. And a round with 0 damage dealt. I think that might be a first in the pistol round for me, actually.
Yeah, that was kind of surprising. It wasn't as though all the shots just came out super fast either. You know, quite a few of the duels felt not labored, so to speak, but you know, Monte got their smokes down. They flooded the bomb site. Yeah, they felt like they were a little disrupted, a little staggered, even when PERA were fighting around the smokes. But yeah, not a lick of damage. So 3 upgrades to head armor. PERA will be pleased.
Instant 4 M4s as well because of those free head upgrades, I'm sure. It's not every day you get such an easy, cheap gun round.
Oh. Gizmi jumped, and unfortunately, Aaron almost certainly heard that. Yep, here they come.
Well, maybe that's a bait. I'm telling you right now, this is where you try and get the pyramid stack bait out. The double swing is planned. They decide against it. You know what? I like this. Flashbang as well. They're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. You know what? You don't see this very often, but I'm happy. I'm happy with this.
They took a lot of damage for their troubles, but yeah.
My happiness is what matters, not their life. In the game.
Well, if you thought the numbers were all funky last game, they're even more funky here. You go from 1, 2, 3, no 4, to 6, and then 8, 9, 0.
Listen, man, all I can say is Valve really needs to put coaches in the game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that would probably help, but it's alright.
I know you can try and code the radar to get it fixed, but because the coach doesn't load it in the same slot every time, it's actually pretty annoying.
Yeah, it can be very difficult. Well, we'll have to recalibrate. As will Monte. These rounds have not been the easiest, but now that they're on rifles, get off to a pretty flying start. PERA back offered up, but they aggress top middle. DGL fighting out in no man's land, but Aaron isn't there to really back him up, so it's a trade. Demka, what a nice shot. Timing great to catch Cammy and just relinquishing that smoke to Palace.
Well, PERA feel like they've lost control before they even had a chance to try and contest there. Demka as well, quick peek back out over, gives up his life, and Aaron, position reveal, waits for the flashbang, but doesn't actually let it pop first. Krasnil could have been completely blind for that duel. Instead, now MSN is about to be stabbed in the back. Waro, happy to collect.
And coming out of that Ancient, it was definitely clear that PERA were playing with a bit more, I think, just composure and a bit more poise. Even though they were taking a lot of risks, and sometimes they were getting caught out on those risks, they weren't often punished for it because of the ways that they were fighting back into the bomb sites. You know, there were some missed opportunities for Monte that almost certainly could have allowed them to close that map, but if PERA take them, then they take them. That's why the scoreline was so close. But I like to see more of those setups where they're sort of bounding off each other, even if players only got their 1 kill. It felt like there were so many heads to the Hydra when PERA were defending their sites.
I'll always appreciate teams that do try and put a stop to the force by war as well, so PERA will just want to try and buy up for the next one. No stacks though, funnily enough. A slight lean over towards the A site, but nothing too definitive. And Monte's going to be going over to B anyway, so nothing to be worried about at all. Camion. Molotov's going to force him forward. His P2K gets, well, zilch.
Oh. Well, okay. I thought that was going to go much worse for Waro, but it's 2 instant headshots just jumping up into a player that was actually watching it from it, or watching for it rather, from the window. See if
And
DGL...
Waro's one of the players who, with the previous map, listen, he got his numbers in, don't get me wrong, but I was really hoping that we'd start to see him try and pop off a little bit more with the AWP, something like it, but unfortunately, we never really got that performance from him overall. Again, ratings decent, everything's good, but it didn't feel like his impact on the server was that great, and maybe a part of that is because of the impact DGL and company were having, but even so.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that Waro was putting in a decent shift on the rifles, but DGL just being able to wander around with his AWP pretty much uncontested. And it's not like Waro didn't try on the AWP a few times, but the few rounds that he did have it, the rounds were pretty cooked elsewhere. You know, whether his teammates were losing their lives on B, or they were, you know, maybe he missed a shot and they took over middle, and that will happen sometimes, but he didn't get a lot of opportunities to recover on that weapon.
Yeah, Gizmo just died through the smoke once, so can't really do much about that either. Boria, very aggressive, is about to be faced into by Demka, and that's where he needs teammates nearby. DGL's the one who takes the fall, and well, Boria's not too far behind. There is backup available. Aaron wants to get involved. The Molotov disables any push forward from Gizmy, and this is where Aaron, if he takes a peek in, there are 2 players who are ready and waiting for him, but Aaron fully wide swings anyway. We're so desperate for information. Meanwhile, Waro has been allowed to fully lurk into the B bomb site solo.
I feel like Monte just love operating like this. Such a spread attack. Even if they find permeations over on the A-bomb site, they'll have that late lurk. And it's a great activation there from Waro. Kept himself out of earshot of that player on short, and it wasn't all that necessary, really. All the A players were just finding their kills. Great job from both Gizmy and Ryu. Ryu getting that double kill as they were aggressing into ramp and just trying to jiggle bait set up him, but they couldn't trade. He hit some nice headshots. Those two a little bit, I think, you know, just under the microscope slightly. Not for critique, but more to see whether or not there's potential for them to even really make the step up into Monte.
They're pretty big boots to fill, right?
Yeah, of course.
And that's where, unfortunately, you gotta check the shoe size.
But sometimes these younger guys haven't fully developed yet.
Demka, however, a man who is very developed. And also hoping to find a couple more kills over here. It's always scary to see Monte continue that spread apart style that they do like versus the Eagles, but look, at the end of the day, that's not necessarily being the strength of PERA regardless. Nice trade from Waro coming through. And yeah, overall, not too much damage dealt, and it does feel like you're going to be getting away with most of the players you have alive, if not all. Oh, not all. Not at all.
Now, will he be able to escape is the main problem. Krasnal falls right into the angle, and DGL has to commit to the reload, but we'll be able to scurry his way back. We're already holding, and gets caught jumping? Okay. Seemed like he got the shock of his life. This round is Monte's through and through, but DGL is trying his best to hold on to this weapon, and it's all about mitigating losses. Gizmy won't fumble the bag. DGL goes swinging, and Gizmy prepared for that exact move. 4-2. You know, PERA start off quite well, but Monte bounding right back into this, and have had some very convincing gun rounds.
They're hoping to be able to pair together another one of them. Maybe this is the trick. Gotta lose the pistol and the follow. That's how you win a game in MR12.
You look at the money for Monte, you know, they've won 4 rounds in a row, and they've got healthy coffers.
Yeah, despite the damage that they took in the previous one, they are feeling very good about it. Deep nade, though. Waro unhappy about what's been found at his shoes. It's already chunked him down. Boreas completely alone on this A side, and there's no flashes to help him out either. The CTs have already used everything they had in that department, and Boreas has to come through big on his own. Good for one, can't make it two, but maybe that's still enough. DGL not giving a peek out over this time. They do wait for the smokes to clear, and they made it open soon after as well. DGL fully forced off the angle, and as they try and retake back in through CT, they'll be met with another smoke at their feet, one that's very poorly thrown in all fairness. So the peek out will give them one. There isn't a second swing. Maybe MSN not quite in the same picture that was being painted. Aaron and DGL trying to funnel it in through connector with an AWP behind you as well is not an easy job, and Gizmi might have just done all they need. MSN died elsewhere, and DGL, although gets another shot at it, just can't find the frags.
Once again, impact from honestly 3 of the players that we were looking at coming into this game. You know, War on his AWP, finding some nice kills. Gizmi as well, securing territory alongside Ryu. And this could be the real threat of Monte. I mean, you enter a map like Mirage, this is much easier to get players up to speed on. You know, the defaults are, I think, more simplified. I mean, from team to team, it doesn't really change all too much. So nice to see that they're being implemented and utilized to a decent efficacy.
Oh, this is why I wanted you to op, Bora. Because I know you have it in you. Is it just me or is it you as well? I'm just going to check. Oh, okay. It is all of us, in fact.
Collectively.
Well, I was going to make it as my face is frozen as well, but you didn't really entirely lean into it. But hey,
yeah, I mean, I froze up as well, but you
froze
committed to
up
like a very...
You froze up in your disapproving stare. So
you were, I know, but you were like very animated, and I could see that you were like jostling.
Well, listen, server's a little bit jostling for us as well. We're going to reconnect into it very soon. Don't worry about it, guys. It felt like that round was a gimme regardless. Gotta say, I am enjoying War on the op on the T side this time. Mirage feels like he is getting aggressive as well. It's not just like DGL's opping, which was a little bit more passive, a little bit more, you know, defensive in its nature. War is getting in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of... this is the thing, like, when Monte were actually on the come-up, even before SDY actually made his sort of debut on the roster, Mirage was just kind of home turf for them.
Yeah.
And this is also why I would categorize them as a team that just kind of spread out, search for clues, and if the round kind of goes pear-shaped, then somebody will fix it. You know, we'll find a way to save it in the mid-round with, like, a clutch or a 2v2 or a 3v3. That's why it felt like that calling style was sort of gravitated around the Waro style on this map, but you could tell it, I mean, it works, and it was a big reason as to why they had that rise under Waro's leadership, even when they were sort of a mercenaries squad at the start of the Monte journey.
I mean, I won't lie, when SDY and Boros were both on the team, it did feel like Monte was a little bit of a mini Na'Vi. And when I say Na'Vi, I mean like 2021 Na'Vi, where you had Bit, who was getting aggressive. You had like the, you know, weird opping style of Simple, Waro, whatever it is. So, yeah, Monte was one of those teams which, I'm with you. If things go wrong, don't worry about it, guys. We're going to have someone maybe pull out a random triple kill and we can still fix it, right? So, maybe not the most consistent of solutions, but hey, if it gets the job done, who's complaining?
And this is the thing, like, they've obviously undergone a lot of growth since they were that team, and they've undergone roster moves, and they're currently in the middle of one at the moment, but, you know, I think in terms of structure, they clearly have a lot more there, and that's all the signs of being a core that have stuck together for a long enough period of time that you can undergo those changes. It's nice to see that that's still kind of operating here, even though it's still a little loose. Like you can tell from this T side, they're still allowing some freedoms. They are implementing a lot more utility alongside it. It's not like people are just swinging out and headshotting people, which can be an effective solution. You know, boil Counter-Strike down to its simplicities. That can win you rounds, but for consistency's sake, like you're sort of mentioning, it's not always the most conducive, and right now a really solid consistent start from this Monte side that, you know, PERA were making a lot of very solid reads on Ancient. They felt like they were getting quite a few kills round the back of smokes, even through them. Even in the pistol round we saw that. At the start of this game, it feels like we're just getting flat out fights. duel to duel, and right now, I mean, Monte look cleaner.
That is one of the things that's always cool about saying like a top 10 team whenever they drop down into a roster change. And Monte was a top 10 team for about 6 months or so, I would say, last year, maybe even closer to 8. It's always fun to see them use that bridge of both just mechanics and of the sort of structure that you mentioned, just to make sure that if you're up against a team like a PERA, you do have a fallback solution. Now, not to say PERA is any pushover or anything like it, nothing of the sort, right? We saw it on Ancient, but we also saw a lot of rounds on Ancient where you did have just those individuals shining through and giving Monte 1 or 2 extra rounds that can be that bridge.
But you've seen some other teams, you know, struggle to make the transition that Monte has. You know, Bad News Eagles were kind of one of those teams that played very similarly, but, you know, add a few more layers of strategy, and it feels like they've kind of lost their charm.
Yeah. Well, Camion right now is hoping to find a lucky charm, something that'll help him eliminate Waro, but unfortunately he's looked around for trinkets and found dust. And no, I don't mean the map. Or the talent.
Yeah, he's back. We saw him, he was chill.
Good time.
But Dust hasn't been in the pool for a long time. And
I'm
honestly...
confused. Which one are we talking about?
No, Dust 2. Yeah, we're talking about Dust 2.
Okay.
Dust 2? Oh, that's a missed window smoke. That's
never fun.
That's a very simple mistake to make. Our producer chiming in with he'd throw that smoke.
Yeah, Vlad actually taught him that lineup.
Well, that's really unlucky here for Monte. They have to use another smoke just to make sure that they have some mid control. They do at least have one to sort of breach into a bomb site with, because Monte have slowed down this round very dramatically. They got that kill quite early, and they were waiting for PERA to react, but they've just sat on bomb sites.
Camion has a complete inability to back off out of this angle over here, and Monte might realize he's in the vicinity. Camion, however, with this much util being used, barrel spotted as well. Ryu, however, can turn things around before Camion can even get them in his favor.
Oh, missed flash as well. That could have bought some time here for MSN, but they both barreling right over him. Demka, the immediate trade, but 10 seconds. They need to get this bomb down, and DGL was the only one that could have served as spoiler. Hell, last man standing there for PERA. If he'd gotten away with that kill, he would have had to buy 5-6 seconds on his life to probably come away with the round, but he's denied all opportunity.
I mean, to be honest, if MSN's flash hits, that's a completely different round. That's a full 4-second flash, something like it on all of Monte. You're not going to be going down. No one was playing anti-flash, nothing like it. So it does feel like a bit of a missed opportunity to maybe try and turn things around. But Monte, great late round decision making. The calmness that we saw from PERA is now being exhibited on the other side.
Yeah, nice clear from Ryu as well, because Camion could have destroyed that round if it wasn't properly looked out for.
Wow.
Camion destroyed this round by Demka.
Mario, traded. Aaron actually is being pretty heavily helped out by DGL, who's going to continue to peek forward. They're ready for that attempted aggression though, and as the circle around comes through from Aaron, he's not going to be given any more kills from teammates. MSN caught out, and War is the one to bring him down.
Yeah, pretty ambitious play there from MSN. I guess trying to just go off of short and didn't realize that War was there, but in midair, more than enough time for War to get that tech employed. Aaron is still going to give this a good old college try, already trailing quite heavily in this map. 8th round for Monte wouldn't be ideal, but Waro does seemingly have the hot hand on this AWP now that we're on Mirage. 12-3 is the AWPing in-game leader.
Gotta see something coming out from DGL to try and shut that down. Some early aggression, some sort of presence that you're showing off for the CT side, right? And again, that's not what we characterize him for, but it does feel like it's a necessity. And they brought 2 ops out on the T side. Demka, he wants a ball. Oh, okay.
Well, he had a decent spawn, and he is taking it over towards B. Yeah, this is certainly something. They had more than enough money to do it, you know? Sometimes that's the big reason people don't go for it, but Krasnol doesn't even have a chance to get his AK back in hand. Sits on the sidelines, so one of those AWPs dropped.
Put it this way, I don't think you're practicing that one, so You are throwing in the ultimate Hail Mary, saying, hey, it's okay, we've got the lead, but 8-4 is a possibility for PERA over here if they can turn things around. And Monte might be kicking themselves, but still, too early to judge. Demka moves forward. Flashbang won't be doing anything at all. MSN just reveals his position, and Aaron, he uses that as bait.
Well, this has gone very poorly so far. Ryu creeping out, and timing was actually good there for Poria, but dink for dink. Ryu succeeds. It survives on 16 HP. DGL trying to cross that gap, and there was no smoke down to deter his vision. DGL, a missed shot, but there's Ryu. He's had the hot hand on some of these entries. Was playing anchor positions and being a more supportive player, but now breaching bomb sites 2-on-3. But there's a flank employed here for PERA. But it's all about whether they let it activate, because right now War is chewing them to bits in the front.
I mean, the smoke's still down for a little while longer, so Cameron will be having some struggles. No, Ryu is actually going to be caught out immediately. So War was chewing them out, as you mentioned. Needs to really open wide and chomp that jaw down, but he's fully caught out in the open. Camion secondary flash, and it's Aaron who uses that distraction to trace out War. PERA are given a lifeline. Can they hold on to it?
Yeah, it didn't really seem like they had a read on what War's positioning was looking like there, because the timing on the flank from Camion wasn't really there to sort of keep him inside of the bomb site. He could have been playing from CT, that's what that second flash sailed out to, but I mean, War was in a really poor post-plant position once that smoke faded. There was kind of nothing stopping him from being sandwiched from both players on PERA, or at least guaranteed the trade.
I figured it out, Michael. Monte's play was to make it so PERA was double opping, so they can double op versus double op and just out op them. There you go. Krasil gets it done.
That's not one of the double ops, so I mean,
well, he out opped Aaron.
Yeah, yeah.
I said out of them. I'm covered with faulty language and faulty logic.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Borea's covered with his own guts, and so is DGL. Apparently, brains come out very quick when Ryu's the one trying to squeeze, and Demka will do the same to Camion. PERA left without much hope for this one, unless MSN pulls off the round of his life and multiplies his kills by 3. That doesn't seem likely. A few chances given over, and he's not able to take any of them. Finally, Demka falls, but this is very much a pat on the back, as PERA is going to be caught out pretty soon. Waro peeks out from underneath that crosshair, and MSN's demise just accelerates a Monte road to success. We're going to find out whether they can continue treading it, though, after a break. Monte look pretty damn good right now, despite the fact that they lost the pistol rounds, and that feels like, hey, if they're able to lose the pistol round again and do everything all over, they'll be happy to.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the trade-off you have to make, why not? A really solid T-side in from Monte, and honestly some great entries from Ryu. Man, that wasn't really doing a whole lot of entering, I don't think even on Monte Gen, but doing a great job here. Waro, first kill on this B-side defense. Did have Krasnal on tow with him, but they've lost their supportive rotates. Oh, Krasnal still getting away with another, and Ryu's found 2 in an instant. Waro still alive and kicking in from short, does find the final kill. A success holding onto this bomb site, and it's another multi-kill from that young buck in Ryu.
Yeah, but they won the pistol round, right? So I know what happens now, Michael.
I guess so. If we follow your logic.
Let's not. Maybe let's not, right? PERA, however, they are bucking the trend. They're going in for the full force buy, and I don't blame them. Down 7 rounds, there's not much else you can do but hope. And hope will lie in the Tech 9s and the Mac 10s, all of them being put together for a fast A hit. It's a full execute, though, so it's not like Monte won't be having a fair degree of idea that it's coming over. Nade is decent. Aaron not feeling too happy about it. Demka taken down early. Gizmi's there to respond. There's no one in CT spawn, so that seems like the obvious place to try and occupy. But in the meanwhile, Gizmi's just getting involved from inside the smoke, getting aggressive in through connector. And as the T's concentrate back to CT, there aren't flashes for Monte, but maybe the nade can be enough. Waro smokes also a plenty on his side of the coin, and as Gizmi clears out Sandwich, he can continue to frag in. And despite the early kill that they lose out, Monte's still looking very in control of the round, but maybe not for long. Aaron, the double swing is what ends up getting him, and they do have a kid on Waro. Krasnal, however, wants to take the long route.
Yeah, it's fine. He got on the defuse well in advance, so no reason for him to stumble off of it. The only justification would have been to see if he could recover some extra weaponry or something better, but I think it was much better than the FAMAS that he holds in his hand. So Monte, once again, successfully locking things in, especially with them so close to the finish line here on Mirage. They go from a pretty crushing defeat on Ancient, very closely contested on that map, to what is a stormer of a game for them. Quite a few of those players that failed to shine on Ancient, shining bright on Mirage instead.
I will say this could end up being an awkward timing for Monte's side, as they're all caught between aggressing into mid or just trying to hold on to underpass. But if they are going to end up having to deal with a retake off mid, this will be troublesome times. Flashes, though, go a little bit too deep. Gizmi dodges the first, second as well. He's good for the frags and gives space to Ryu to come out big with the multi. Monte is setting themselves up for an easy breezy victory on Mirage. Are going to be headed to 12 unless MSN had something to say about it. Hint, he didn't. No one speaks on MSN anymore. That is dead.
Got to say, I mean, what a call from Monte. First proper gun round there from PERA, and Monte read it perfectly by basically having all their players ready to gravitate and fight towards middle. As soon as they see those flashes, they know that fight that they were hoping for is finally coming. And it's Ryu that ends up again with a triple kill, but it was a lot of those players sort of gravitating around that position. Even if Ryu failed, there were more Monte players where that came from.
There goes Waro. There's no flash on the other side either. Waro just wants a frag out, and he will. 3 kills found in middle, and although PERA is happy with the trades, that nade's going to make them a little bit less happy. And Monte, 13-3, there you have it. As contested as map number 1 might have been, Monte are more than happy to roll over number 2.
Yeah, damn. I mean, we went from a very slow-burning Ancient, basically going every single round, basically running the timer down so many of those rounds as well, to a speed-ran Mirage. So, I mean, good stuff from Monte bouncing back, and honestly, what a recovery from the stand-ins coming into this roster.